Welcome to Natty's Crafts. I'm Natalie. I'll be doing all the crafting today. And so today it's time for another challenge. Today we're going to do or take part in the Try It Tuesday challenge hosted by Unicorn Dust Designs, co-hosted by Rebecca Virginia DIY. And in this challenge, basically what we're doing is we're taking an idea from another YouTuber, another creator, and we're going to redo it in our own way. Or we could just do an exact dupe too. I mean, that's part of the fun too. So I've got 3 items that I found other creators making. Absolutely love them. So I'm going to make them on my own and see how they turn out. So before I waste too much more time, let's go ahead and go take a look. Now be sure to visit the host, Unicorn Dust Designs, and co-host Rebecca Virginia DIY. So here's what we'll make first. This is actually from Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs. God, I hope I do it justice. I don't know. So we're going to need a whole bunch of wood blocks. Now, I used a fewer wood blocks than Sammy did, and only because I ran out. So my Dollar Trees haven't had wood blocks in, I don't know, it's been over a month. Ever since I wanted to order a case of them. Ever since then, they haven't had them. So then I finally did order them, but now it's been 2 weeks and I haven't heard anything back about it. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I had to separate these out because I'm a little bit of a psycho. So I had to separate them all out into color matching, the stripes match and all that. And then we're going to glue these into squares. Now, if you do them in L's first, it is easier to then finish off the square. So you're not seeing me do that here, but you will see that in a second. And so wood glue is best, of course, because that's going to last longest. Here I did end up having to use hot glue. And then here's also where I use the L's and then put the L's together. It's a little bit easier that way. And then once we've got those together, then we're actually going to put 3 of the squares together as well. And this one, I believe Sammy had 4, maybe even 5 of the squares together. I'm doing 3 again because I ran out of blocks. But this is the fun part about the craft, is that you can make this however you want. If you only wanted it two squares deep, you could do that and it would still look good. And here's where I figured out I needed to add some hot glue. So I did wood glue and hot glue once I got a few of these little strips done. Then we're going to figure out how we want it to sit. Now I made mine a little bit more dramatic with the stagger because I'm, I guess, a little bit more dramatic. But I'm using wood glue and hot glue. Long-term and short-term hold. And then we're going to put some feet on. Now I'm using this Loctite super glue for the feet, which I got from Dollar Tree, but the little bottle was so small I was so disappointed. When I actually squeezed the air out, it was like completely empty. But anyway, so I'm using that. You can't barely see me do it, but I'm using that to stick the feet on. Now I'm using these ginormous Jenga blocks to do the feet. And then I'm also adding support on the back. Again, I'm just a different type of person, and so I wanted to add support, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm just using some small craft sticks or popsicle sticks and just going into those creases or where those joints meet up and just adding some support on those spots. And that's it for this one. Just that easy. I loved this project so much. Thank you, Sammy, so much for showing us all these. And she did have like 10 other wood projects in that video. So guess who's going to be doing like 10 more wood projects or tumbling tower projects. Absolutely love this one. Alright, so here's our next one. This one is from Dee from She's So Crafty. I love all of her very professional looking projects, but here's the one I chose. Here are the supplies you'll need. And basically it's wood blocks, right? We're going to put a bunch of wood blocks together to make a frame. You could do the frame just with regular like 1x2s or something like that from Home Depot or Lowe's. But I'm using the wood blocks. So we're just going to glue these all together. Now, I didn't have enough tumbling towers. If you saw the previous project, I ran out basically, and Dollar Tree no longer has them at my Dollar Trees. So I'm using the large Jenga blocks that I got from the Goodwill bins a while back, because I did have enough of those, and they're a bit bigger, so I could use fewer of them. So that's what I'm using here. And we're basically just going to glue together 6 of the 2 cube sets, and then 6 of the 5 cube sets, if you're using these big, not cubes, but towers or blocks. You know what I'm talking about. So we're just making rectangles. That's all we're doing. We're just making rectangles because these are going to be frames for our sign. And I am using hot glue now. Of course, long term, it's best to use wood glue or even like a Gorilla Glue or E6000. And I do not like the little breaks in the wood blocks, and so I'm going to go ahead and fill those in using the spackle. This is the Dex, I think it's called, spackle. So I'm just going to fill in those little cracks because I do want it to look like one piece of wood instead of a bunch of Jenga blocks stuck together. And along the edges as well. Now, this was probably unnecessary because I did not do a good job at it. But then I had to go back and sand off all of the extra because I used a whole bunch. And I didn't sand it well enough. So that's where I said it was probably unnecessary to even do, because one of them I actually turned around backwards to the side I didn't put the putty on, or the spackle on. Then once all that's done and it's all cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and paint it. Now, my frames in my house are normally always black, so of course that's what I chose. But use any color you want, obviously, and, you know, make it fit your decor. And then here's the foam board. Now, this is the only piece of foam board that I had at my house. I went to Dollar Tree. They did not have it. So this is what we did. I just kind of pieced it together. So this piece fit fine. That was great. But that little slit of remaining over there on the side, that's what I had to use for the other 2 frames. But we figured it out. We made it work. So we just cut it to fit the back of the frame. And it's best if it is almost as big as the frame, so that it's almost touching the edges. Not quite, but almost. And then we're just going to clean up the edges. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife there for that. And I did use my Cricut to cut out the actual words of the sign. Or not Cricut, I used my Silhouette for this. Now you can, of course, use stickers from Dollar Tree or Walmart or wherever else. You could handwrite it if you've got good hand lettering. Or you could use a die cut machine if you have one. There's so many options here. Okay, so my sign is going to say, obviously, welcome to our chaos. Our house is a funny house. We don't take anything too seriously. We don't have any children, so we're a little maybe rambunctious. And this is our chaos when you come to our house. So I'm hot gluing the poster board or the foam board onto the frame. And then I'm going to put the words into the frame. So first I put the poster board on, or the foam board on, to make sure my pieces actually fit. And then we're going to go ahead and put the words on. Now, Dee had some flowers that were coming out of Welcome to Our Farmhouse, is what she had. And I completely forgot about that, but it's okay because our style here is a little bit more simple, a little bit more industrial, I guess. And I love that word chaos. I love that font. I should put the font down in the description. I'll probably forget though. But it looked kind of chaotic, and that's kind of how we are around here. It's funny. And then we're going to put these all together using the Dollar Tree plant hanger. Now, if you have one of those baskets with the chain, you could also use that. But I had this plant hanger, so that's what I'm using. And I'm just measuring to make sure I don't waste any of it because, you know, supplies are limited around here. And I am actually going to hot glue the chain down. And then I'm going to put a piece of masking tape over it, which really gives it a nice secure hold. And that's it. Now my lighting was so bright, you can't see the welcome, you couldn't see the 2-hour chaos, but it's there. Trust me, it's there. And when you're in person, you can see it. But so there's my sign. Welcome to our chaos. Make sure to visit the playlist down below to see what the other creators have created. Here's the next one. It's by Donna at Creative by Nature DIYs and Decor. And here are the supplies you'll need for this one. More blocks. So we're going to start with this box sign, basically from Dollar Tree. Now, this box and the spatula got into a little argument, and it left me with a Band-Aid on my finger. So apparently the box and the spatula, or the scraper one, I lost that one. Anyway, so we're going to clean this up. We're going to take the star off the front. We're going to take the stickers off the back. And then I am going to sand down that paper a bit. It didn't come out as I was expecting, but I just sanded it a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and paint the box. I chose white. Of course, choose whatever color fits your decor or your style. So it's all painted white. I believe that was 3 coats. And then I'm also going to do the back. And the back I'm going to do in the black, which is Waverly ink. And so I'm just going to paint that all black. I did, obviously be careful around the edges. I didn't tape it off or anything, so I just was careful around the edges. And then we're going to design our blocks. So I chose to use 5 different colors and 5 blocks for every color. So I went from black down to white. So Donna used just multicolors. So there was yellows and greens and pinks and all sorts of pretty colors. But my style is more monochromatic, so I just use black, gray, and white, but different shades. So here I'm just designing how I want it to actually look. Now you should wait until your blocks are dry. I did not. That was a mistake. But basically just laying it out so I know how I'm going to actually glue these on. So I figured out the way I wanted it designed. And then I did make a little box inside my box so that I knew where to glue them. Now Donna put it on like a piece of cardboard, I believe it was, and then glued that into the box. Which probably would have been a little easier, but I like to be difficult, so it's okay. And so I'm literally just gluing this blocks together. And here's the design that I came up with. It's just my style. I think it's adorable. I love it. And that could be done. You could be done right there, but I always have to go just one extra step that's unneeded. So I am going to make a little stand for the box so that it's actually a piece that will just stand, in the corner of my desk. You could completely skip this or put a wall hanger on the back or whatever. And here's my stand. I painted it black. I'm going to put a little piece of the cork sticker that you get from Dollar Tree. I'm going to put that on the bottom just so that it, doesn't move around or slide or scratch or whatever else. And then we're just going to hot glue the stand to the little, it's not a sign, but I keep saying sign, to the little box. How about that? And that's it. Just that easy. This was the cutest, simplest little thing ever. I think it's really adorable. It's just my style, and that's the part that matters. It's my style. Make it your style with whatever colors you like. Well, that's it for today. I thank you so much for stopping by, and I sure thank Sammy for having this challenge, the Try a Tuesday challenge. If you would, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know which of the 3 was your favorite, and give me that big thumbs up. I do appreciate that. And then if you would subscribe, that would be delightful. I do appreciate every single person who has subscribed so far. It really makes a difference for me. I do appreciate it. But anyway, thanks so much. Y'all have a great one.